The city of Lagos
There is
waits and
still a
dog
poor
as all
level of
routes
Be the first to know. From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa,
Federal High
we
Court.
break the news.
We are one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News,
Welcome to Core
a
TV.
24-hour news station.
Good morning and welcome to Core Digest. I am Martins Dixon. Today we will be looking at a very current issue, which is the Boko Haram insurgency as it relates to politics with regards to the 2015 election that is coming forth. And we have as our topic today Boko Haram, rising insecurity and the road to 2015. I have two gentlemen here in the studio. They're going to help us analyze and analyze in-depthly the situation and the issues on ground. And I have Victor Okai, who is a public affairs analyst. Welcome to Core Digest. And I also have Monday Ubani, a legal practitioner. A very warm welcome to Core
Martin,
Digest.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Let me start with you, Victor Okai.
Okay.
Now, just a little analogy and a relation between insecurity and elections. Can we have what relates insecurity and elections?
Well, insecurity and elections, let me put it this way. You know, insecurity can be used to advantage, and it can be used, it can be a disadvantage. When I say used to advantage, wherever there's a need, where there's a need, then there's a need to satisfy that need. If you create a sense of insecurity and you promise to deliver security, you are satisfying a need. And so sometimes you find a situation where either rightly or wrongly, artificially induced, or even people can create a state of insecurity leading to. Another situation can be that a state of insecurity can be used to create confusion, to the advantage of whoever is behind it. But it's not to say that insecurity is necessarily always related to electioneering. Of course, during elections, there's a heightened state of, if you like, insecurity in the sense, or a heightened state of security alert. I think that's a better way of putting it, because there are the people who want power at all costs, and they will do anything to get it, and it can heighten the state of insecurity. But if you want to relate it to 2015, then it is a major factor going into 2015, because of course there are states that may not vote on the one hand. Two, there are issues that need to be resolved leading to 2015, because you are looking at a situation where this country is almost on the brink of war, at least in some parts, and there are people who are asking questions. Can the current government deliver? Will this continue afterwards, or will they be able to stem it in its tide leading to 2015? Let me just say at this point.
Okay, let me. You've raised some issues that I will want to throw it back to you, since you're a legal practitioner. You know that some months back there have been this outcry and talk about whether the people within the states in which the insurgency is rife will be disenfranchised come 2015 or not. And we had some politicians come up to say, even in Afghanistan, where it was a full-scale blown war, people took part in elections, so it shouldn't be an issue. Now, how do you look at the situation in the Northeast?
Well, the issue of election is a festival of democracy. An election, should ordinarily take place in a peaceful atmosphere. And then lives and properties must be secured. Nobody will want to bring people out, and then in the process of electing a leader, a bomb, goes off, and then,
decimating the population and throwing people into chaos and then creating grief and sorrow. That is not actually the purpose of government. You know, the primary responsibility of government is to secure lives and properties. And I know that they have declared state of emergency in all these some of the northwestern states. And the reason they did that in order to ensure that they restore peace and order. Now, if that peace and order is threatened and has not been restored, and you now want to risk the lives of Nigerians by bringing them out during the electoral process, you know, thereby exposing them to danger, then you are not doing what you're supposed to do as a government. So, as you asked my brother Victor, issue of insecurity and 2015 election, I'm looking at it from two dimensions. One is that the primary responsibility of every government is to protect lives and property. And it is of electoral importance for you to fulfill that, because you will be asking for their votes. And one of the things you will tell them is that I have secured their lives, I have created atmosphere of peace. Now, if you are not able to do that, you know, what moral justification do you have, both at the local government and the state level, at the federal, to say, okay, give me your vote? So it becomes an important factor towards the election in 2015. So issue of keeping the promises and protecting lives and property is very, very key. It's also looking at it other ways. Maybe that people are also destabilizing the government in order to call a dog a bad name to hang it, and makes it impossible for the government now to claim that they have succeeded. There are some people who may ordinarily, create state of chaos, insecurity, and lawlessness all over the place, and then putting the government that is in power, giving them what you call crisis of confidence. People will no longer have confidence in them. I say, look, you are not able to do this for us, so why would you not ask for my vote? So you look at it from two directions, that this state of insecurity is something that has, something to do with 2015. It's either it impacts negatively on the government that is in power, or even positively. Let me take it from the positive point of view. Somebody may look at what is going on in Northwest, region, and say, look, this man is being attacked because he's a Christian. What is going on there is they want to destabilize his government because the government that is in power is a Christian. And so in that wise, it creates now some level of crisis of confidence. People say, oh, because he's a Christian, so for that reason, we must bring him back to power. And so it raises what they call religious sentiment. Oh, because he's a Christian, that's why he's being attacked. And so some people now will now say, we want to make sure that he comes back to power. And then he now begins to attract what they call sympathy vote. So that's why this state of insecurity can create, negative impact. It can also create a positive impact. No. And that's why somebody has to be careful the way he's being analyzed. Yes.
Does that not take us to a very dicey situation that there are people who have come out to say that the lives of Nigerians have been used for politics?
Yes.
Now, such statements that you've made have been made in the past,
yes,
where people come out to give reasons why these things happen.
Yes.
And why will politicians sit back and use the lives of innocent Nigerians to get their way to power?
Let me shock you. The insurgency is a creation of the political elite. They created it. They purposely created it. If you look at the root cause or the rise and the profile of insurgency in the Northwest, it is the politicians that created these guys were armed by the politicians in order for them to get to power. And immediately they got to power, they forgot them. But meanwhile, they have not taken away the guns. A lot of sentiments, came up. And these guys were left, frustrated. Before you know it, they started recruiting. It is a political elite creation. There's no two about it. What you are seeing today, the insurgency in the Northwest, is a creation of the political elite. And if it's been sustained by the political elite, and can only be eliminated also by the political elite, go and mark my word. It is when it affects them, the way Ebola is being treated is the way all of them wake up to. Because it's not affecting them. It's a common man that is being affected. The common man is being decimated. The common man is being killed every day. The moment Boko Haram takes this insurgency, this war, to the political elite, and you hear that the governor has been killed, you hear that the senator has been shot dead by the Boko Haram insurgents, I tell you that day there will be an end towards finding a solution to Boko Haram insurgency.
Now, Victor, let me take this to you. Monday has told us, and is being insulted by the police. His argument is not the first time this is coming up. It's been in the public domain, and he's stressing it now. Now, politicians have of recent exchanged words and trade blames along political lines with the result of this insurgency. Now, why is the focus, just like Monday Obani said, not on solving the problem, but trying to get who to blame?
Well, unfortunately, we have a set of very selfish, and if you like, devilish politicians who will make political gain and capital out of the blood of innocent Nigerians. Why am I saying this? This is a national emergency, a national disaster. And I know how the war started in Liberia. It started, just the way this is starting, like nothing, And before you know what was happening, like a conflagration, it swept through the entire country. When this whole Boko Haram thing started, then, it was like they were attacking police stations and all that. Then, of course, Christians are always ready victims. Wherever anything happens, Christians, and especially the Igbo extraction, if excuse my being more pointed and direct, because that always happens.
That's right.
They started attacking them, and it was like, you get a good laugh out of the misfortune of others. That is the secret of comedy, as a matter of fact. When a man falls, you laugh. It is human nature. People started laughing then. From that, they are killing Christians, they are burning churches and all that. It didn't matter to them. Like they say, if you see another person's dead body being carried, a corpse being carried, it's like a log of wood. Until it comes close enough home, then you know how it is. The numbers are to us here just like statistics. 50 died today in Adamawa, 200, forgetting that each life is one created by God. And you hear politicians here saying, all they're doing is just looking at government instead of saying, look, gentlemen, this can affect all of us. What can we do together? Forget partisan leanings and inclinations and saying, look, let's come together. What can we do? Is there anything we can do to stem this tide? Because I tell you what, if there is no Nigeria, the politicians will have no one to rule, But what they're doing right now is, okay, look, you are not fit to rule. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. Let me give you a small example. Personally, rather than looking up to the center, a man who is almost 700 miles away from the heat of what is happening. I want to use the example of Lagos State. Lagos, international, globally, not just in Nigeria, used to, in terms of insecurity. When they say Nigeria is not safe, they meant Lagos State is not safe. To be honest, it was a state of insecurity in Lagos that was like a blight on the rest of Nigeria. Armed robbery, all sorts of things then. When you have, because I deal with a lot of foreigners, and when my friends and associates and colleagues, when they say, no, Lagos, go to the internet, red alert. How did Fashola do it? He didn't need Jonathan to do it. He didn't need any joint task force to fight insecurity. He collaborated. Even if people are talking about, whether state police or not, it's not that. He collaborated and equipped the police commissioners in Lagos State. You will see those that wear these dresses that make them look like reptiles. I don't know if you know the uniform they wear, the special task force. He equipped them. They work together, very closely together. And today, not just them, even the media, because it's also a matter of building perception. They collaborated with the media and with the police. And today, you can walk on the streets of Lagos. It did not require anybody from the center. And so, when things happen, people now begin to blame, the president is this, is that. Don't we have local government chairmen on ground? Don't we have a governor on ground? What are they doing? Security starts from you in your home. You secure yourself first, and then there's a neighborhood watch, okay? And that's how it goes, you know? And so I think that for us to begin to blame, take the blame away from where it belongs and begin to put it at a remote location is not, I mean, that's what has made everything become the way it is today.
Is it a difficult thing to do? We've seen concerted efforts with Ebola, just like Monday Obani gave the example earlier. We've seen the federal government coming along with the state government, and we've heard statements from the federal government that we're going to collaborate seriously with the Rivers State government to also contain this. Why are we not doing that? Why are the politicians not doing that in the case of
let me use Ebola again as an example. Lagos State took charge. They were proactive. I like to use Lagos as an example. They did not start blaming federal government. They first of all took charge of the situation because it was happening in Lagos. You understand? And then the federal government came and gave them backing. If they started by throwing blame where it did not rightfully belong, you know, by saying, oh, the borders are open, oh, you shouldn't have allowed people to... If they were busy doing that, nothing would have happened. They took charge and the government backed them up.
Okay, let me give this a legal perspective. Now, the state governors are the chief security officers of their states. Why was it difficult for the state governors to take charge in the case of insecurity, especially in the Northeast?
Now, when you say that the state governors are the chief security officer, I mean, under the law, they are. But speaking in a substantial manner, they are not. They don't control any of the security forces. None of them does. None of the governors. They don't control the police. They don't control the army. And remember that in this some of these northwestern states, you know, they declare state of emergency. In other words, the military, you know, came in, and some of the, laws, issue of observance of fundamental human rights were suspended.
Okay, but what of before the declaration of the state of emergency, when it started?
It became bad. As I said earlier, most of them, you know, I'm not here to say, oh, the governors, you know, did not listen. I am blaming the political elite. Mine is, you know, to be partisan and look at it how it is. There is a failure on the part of governance in Nigeria generally, both at the local government, both at the state and federal level. Even the Boko Haram insurgency we are talking about, finding a cure to it is going to have a multifaceted approach to it. Not only one approach of equipping them militarily and, you know, making sure that they have all the equipment, because all the equipment will not stop Boko Haram today. It has gone beyond the issue of, you know, military might to stop them. There are issues. The issue of, there is political Boko Haram. There is religious Boko Haram. There is economic Boko Haram. I will explain. Now, the religious Boko Haram wants to enthrone Islamic State. And they're serious about it, because in the state of, you know, that when the state of Islamism comes up, this issue of corruption, lawlessness, prostitution and all that will disappear. They feel that you know, there will be an utopian state created for the benefit of mankind. That is the idea. So do away with any other religion apart from Islam. So they can do anything in order to enthrone Islamism all over the place. So they still believe that Nigeria is supposed to be an Islamic state. So that is religious Boko Haram. And they're there. Now there is political Boko Haram. Those that felt that, oh, if Jonathan wins, because it wasn't the turn of the Southwest or South to come into power in 2011, they will make his government ungovernable. And immediately he won, they set about the agenda, and they are really making his government ungovernable, thereby discrediting him. So that even if he wants to come back and say, I am coming back for a second time, they say, no, your credentials are not good enough. You have not been able to secure lives and property. So there is political Boko Haram, and they are working. Now there is economic Boko Haram. There are those in Nigeria, they have never enjoyed anything in this country. They have not seen infrastructure being put in place. There is nothing that makes them feel that they're citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They cannot get medical service. They cannot get education. Their lives have been wasted. They are neglected. And somebody now is giving them an offering. Oh, I'll give you $3,000. in order for you to have 7 angels when you die, I mean, virgins when you die, they are ready for economic reason to join Boko Haram, and there are many of them. So let me tell you, they now, there's convergence of all these Boko Haramites now to now take Maiduguri, because they all of them have come together, including religious Boko Haram, political Boko Haram, and even economic Boko Haram. They have now come together, and that's why they are posing a more dangerous, later, a potent threat now to Nigeria. They have all come together. Now they have different fundings, but now even the funding now is now centralized. I'm just telling you this thing. That is what is going on now in the Northwest. The fundings are now even of international dimension. Now, if you want to find a solution to this, it's not a question of now arming, equipping them. You still have to enthrone good governance, which has been lacking over the years. If you go to local government council in all these northern states, you laugh. There is no presence of governance. Meanwhile, they collect money every month from Abuja. There is nothing to show governance in all the northern states, most of the local government council. There is none. There is none. You don't see governance at all. If you see the schools, you laugh. So these guys have been denied all this since all this while. Meanwhile, you've been hearing billions and billions being spent, and it doesn't affect their lives. So you must enthrone good governance if you want people not to be recruited into Boko Haram insurgency to begin to attack the state, because they don't believe no longer in the state, because the state has not provided anything for them. So you have to enthrone good governance. You have also to give good orientation to these people who believe that it's only by enthroning Islamic State that the world will be a better place for them. That is a wrong notion. That is not the God we serve. The God does not believe you have to kill in order to make somebody, convert somebody and all that. So we need all that. The issue of political Boko Haram, we must enthrone justice. Let there be a feeling that all of us belong to this country. Are you following me, sir? So solve it politically, because it is a creation of also political problems. So if you now take this multifaceted approach to solving Boko Haram insurgency, you end it. But the moment you say, oh, we equip them very well, kill them, these guys are ready to die, sir. Can you imagine hosting a flag, even as you have military might, the way we have in this country? They say, we are taking Maiduguri. Borno said we are taking it. And they are still there. Despite the denial, they are there. So it will not be solved by issue of military might. So it must be followed by a multifaceted approach, But it's unfortunate that the people there are not getting good coverage. There is even a betrayal within the military, sir. Yes, some of the military are willingly handing over some of their equipment. The little equipment we have over to Boko Haram. Yes, most of the equipment are given to them.
Now let me take you back on this, Victor. You see, the situation that has been painted by Obani here, and then we have the elections coming, and politicians have started using the issue of this insecurity to campaign for 2015. I'll still go back to this same fundamental question that Nigerians are asking. Why is the effort not being centered on solving, but on winning the 2015 elections? Why will politicians use the situation on ground, the insecurity on the ground, and be campaigning when hundreds are dying by the day?
Well, obviously it favors the opposition if the state of insecurity continues, like I said at the beginning. So that it's a campaign ace, if you like, if you a campaign joker, So it will not be in the interest of the opposition for the insurgency to end before 2015, and that's why they will continue to campaign with it.
But there has been this direct blame by especially the two leading political parties, accusing one another of being behind the insurgency. Why will we say you are responsible, I am responsible, when we are supposed to be coming, let's stop the killing of innocent lives?
That exactly is the point. Like I said earlier on, these are just people who are just selfish, unfortunately, and are not looking at the innocent lives that are being shed every day, because it is in their favor for this to continue. Imagine a situation today where all the killings stop. Suddenly, there's no Boko Haram today. What else will you use to campaign? Unfortunately. It's sad. It hurts. That lives are being wasted every day. It shouldn't be like that. The question I keep asking today is, where are the statesmen in this country? Every community has elders. When young people misbehave, elders will call them and say, look, gentlemen, let's see how we can resolve this. But who are the elders in Nigeria today? Where are the elders? Have they been compromised? People are so partisan right now. They're not thinking Nigeria first. They're thinking party, they're thinking tribe, they're thinking religion. And that's why the country is the way it is. And unfortunately, the young people have no voice. Look what happened at the national conference. Where were the young people? Same set of people who are recycling all the time. People who have no further interest in this country because their days are numbered. They will soon go anyway, so they want to grab all they can to bequeath to their children. They don't have the interest of the rest of the country at heart. This is a time when we should all come together. Bury whatever differences we have. But the question is, where are the elders? The elders have been compromised. They're not thinking about, you see, even the issue of the Chibok girls, bring back our girls. I don't know how many are even sincere. When was the last time anyone talked about either compensation or anything about those over 100 and something, about 100 and something boys who were killed at the federal government college somewhere in Yobe? Yeah. Who is talking about those boys today, those children today? They have been forgotten. We're talking Chibok. Don't get me wrong. It's important. We must get those girls back. I agree. But lives are wasting every day. Who is talking about the parents of these people or the family members that are dying every day? Is there any compensation? Is anyone comforting them? Is anyone remembering them?
No, but at the rate at which we are going, will there still be 2015 elections with the way things are going now?
I'm positive there will be. And there are so many pointers. For instance, I know that it's not even in the interest of the international community for it. Look at, Chad may not be complaining now in Niger, but believe me, by the time our people start moving into these countries, when Nigeria will burst at the seams with refugees, forget it. You see, it's looking like nothing right now, but very soon, you will soon see. The Americans are talking.
And Cameroon is already complaining.
Well, no, they're not. They've not started complaining. Let them sit down and think it's a Nigerian problem. Right now, all hands are coming on deck because it is in the interest of the rest of the world. We are not Libya. If Nigeria breaks, if we don't live peacefully, if we scatter, Africa will scatter. People are talking right now, and I don't know what gives you that confidence, but I have a feeling that by December, what is called Boko Haram now is either we will see fragments of it, or most of it would have been decimated. I have that strong feeling.
No, that's a feeling, and
well,
positive
equipment are coming in. They're bringing equipment, and some of our soldiers are going to be trained, and we're revising our strategies and rejigging our strategies, and the embarrassment is increasing, and I don't think any government, for that matter, can continue this state of embarrassment up till December.
Okay, now we're going to take a short break, but before we do that, let me ask you this question, Monday Obani. You look at parts of how, let me just paint a scenario now with the 2015 elections. We're talking about the rising insecurity and the road to 2015. Now with parts of Adamawa and then a much larger part of Borno State and Yobe State not being peaceful to be able to go into elections. Taking earlier your statement that said elections would need to be conducted in a peaceful atmosphere. Now, how will the credibility of that election be when these major parts of the Northeast are not peaceful enough to be part of the electioneering process?
That may be the reason why I may not be too optimistic like my brother, Victor. Victor, you say he has a feeling, but these things are not rocket science. The reality on ground is very dicey and very threatening. And we need to be realistic about it. Unless God intervenes, the situation, the scenario is not promising. There is nothing in the vision that is showing a clearer picture of what Nigeria will be in 2015. Let me tell you, even if we manage to hold the election in 2015, the credibility, as Riley pointed out, of that election will clearly be in doubt. Now, even if somebody emerges, let's assume that it is President Jonathan that emerges, and he may likely emerge because he's going to contest. All this begging, forget all this begging, pleading and all that. The man has made up his mind to run, and he may likely win. And why he will win is, as I told you, is this issue of insecurity, which is working also to his own favor. My Victor was looking at it from the opposition point of view, that they may not have any campaign point again if there is absolute peace today. No, you look at it also from the political party that is in power, that the more insecurity there is. Some people now will look at it. Oh, it is created by the opposition. In fact, that's why the opposition should not come to power. I forgive me. So it is the advantage of the political party in power to say, look, you see, if these guys allow us, to continue, we will create a...
So is that why the blame?
Yeah, that the blame game will continue. But I tell you why the blame game will continue, because they are not involved. The moment one of them is being killed, I tell you, they will tackle insecurity is the way to tackle Ebola. So the issue is that insecurity, if it continues this way, I am not too sure of an election that will be credible, that even if President Jonathan emerges as a winner, there is going to be a very big problem. Or even if a Northerner emerges as a president,
he won't have oil.
He won't have oil because he will blow up the oil pipe. So Nigeria is sitting on a cake.
Yes.
So that's why it is very critical that I felt that even the conferences would have provided, a leeway for us to really, have a solution to our intractable problem. But the conference ended up in a fiasco. So I'm still not seeing my visions clear. I'm not a prophet, but the reality on ground is not promising. I'm not in this, but I need to be optimistic, because with God, but with man it looks impossible.
We keep talking about God all the time.
Yes,
and the whole world,
yes.
Nigerians also always at all time make reference to God when they are faced with challenges.
When you finish, ask me the question. I will tell you why.
When they are faced with challenges.
I will tell you why we require God in everything.
When we look at some Western states that don't really resort to prayer, but practicable and very effective methods and strategies of solving situations that has to do with with this kind of situations.
Yes.
But why do we always have to sit back and play with God when there are practicable steps that should be taken to solve these challenges that are facing us?
If you watch me, I always look at things realistically. But I'm a believer, and I have to believe on something, and I believe in God. There is no that thing, So yes, and I don't make any apology about it. So in all our statement, we always resort, because there is omnipotent, omniscience God that solves problems. We have read in the books also how He settled some countries that were in a quagmire, and He came in and problems were solved. So forgive me if we end up, but I am saying this thing, that the reality on ground is that we need to brace up and behave ourselves and solve our problems. The outsiders, with American promises and German promises, British cannot solve our problem. I heard the American diplomat expressing some reservation and why Nigeria is really on the brink, and why something is not being done, that we are being embarrassed. But it is the more, that's how far they can go. They cannot be the one to solve our problem. The political elites, as I said earlier, owes Nigeria a duty to stop this Boko Haram insurgency, because they started it in the first place. And why they are not solving it now and then engaging in this blame game is because none of their own lives are being wasted. The moment these Boko Haram insurgents enter Abuja and you hear that 3 or 4 senators have been killed, the problem will be solved.
Okay, we'll get back to the issue of these political leaders, but let's take a short break. Viewers, it's been a core digest, and we're talking about rising insecurity and the road to 2015. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back to continue. Stay with us.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you join us on another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people.
They gave me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before he perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
So anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of our own state and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on QTV News.
The deadly Ebola virus is again spreading in West Africa. The virus has fatality rates of up to 90%, meaning many who contract the disease die. A subcontinent have witnessed over 900 deaths. Please help prevent the spread of Ebola by observing the following precautions. This is a social responsibility awareness campaign of Core TV News.
Welcome back. It's still Core Digest, and we're looking at rising insecurity and the road to 2015 with Boko Haram in focus. We've been talking about, Umbani just rested before we go on break, on the issue of the political elites not being affected directly by this insurgency, and that is probably why we are not seeing concerted and effective proactive measures to stop this insurgency. But I would take this to you, Victor Okai. Recently and up till now, I think the burning issue on the lips of Nigerians is the case of indictment by the Australian negotiator who indicted the former Chief of Defence Staff and the former Governor of Borno State, Ali Modu Sharif. And a little bit away from what Monday Obani said, Ali Modu Sharif said direct members of his family and even his younger brother has been affected by this insurgency. Boko Haram have killed members of his family. So how could he be a sponsor when is that? Now, making reference to that, to the political elite, could it be that they are not directly hit, and that is why the solution is not coming? Or it is that it's just beyond the political class solving the challenge or the problem?
Boko Haram is a hydra-headed monster that is now ungovernable. If there's a word like untamable, I may use that word as well. When it all started, like I said in the beginning, it's not like a small thing could have been nipped in the bud. But that python that was in the egg has now grown to, it's now a monster python, probably over 30 feet long. What do you do in a case like that? No one is safe anymore. First it was the Christians and police posts and all that. Today, emirs are dying. There were 2 attempts on the life of the late emir of Kano. And so many emirs, we know at least about 1 or 2 emirs have been killed. So it is getting closer home, but it's coming rather late. Because right now, Boko Haram is like keeping a domesticating a lion in the house. You feed it with other things, but the day it tastes human blood, it will no longer be the same. That's what's happened. They have tasted, what is it that is giving them the high? You know, it is only the first time you kill. It's killing the first time that is difficult. But the minute you have been able to break that barrier and you kill somebody once, any soldier will tell you that killing is no longer a big deal. Okay? It's like having sex. You know? Oh, don't. Okay, fine, you keep yourself. But the day you do it once, after that, you know what I mean? Now, Boko Haram, as an organization, right now, it's not just about the killing anymore, because killing is nothing to them anymore. Look at them and their colleagues in ISIS. They slaughter human beings like chickens. But more importantly, the media, especially opposition media, I use the language opposition media because if you have the interests of Nigeria at heart, you will report responsibly. You will not glorify terrorists. Terrorists, part of what feeds them is the media high. And so when you glorify them and say, oh, they have conquered this, they have done that, and you're making your government look small, you're making your soldiers look like they are Lilliputians before, you know, just making them look, I mean, ridiculing your soldiers, you know, before the world, before the global community. You're not writing responsibly or reporting responsibly. Why you discourage even the soldiers? Those that have not gone to a battlefront, you know, when they hear the kind of reports, because until you go there, you and I have not been there. The only thing we know is what is reported. And so when we hear that they're having guns that are bigger than whatever, that they are larger than life and whatever, even you, a very strong soldier, you hear that what they have is like, you'll be scared. So psychologically, you are defeating your own people. Okay? So right now, they are feeding on, and they are feeding on the media. That propaganda is swelling them. They're moving with that. The advantage of that media propaganda.
So are you suggesting you black out on Boko Haram coverage from
That's
the
not
media?
what I'm saying. We can report responsibly. The American media, you need to know the way they are reporting the war in Iraq and the rest. Watch them the way they report. They don't ridicule their government. They don't do it. They are united. When it is against American interests, Republicans and Democrats are one. Internally, they will have their fights. But against external aggressors, there is no blue, there is no red.
Then why is it difficult for our politicians to do the same?
It is the irresponsibility, the selfishness, as I said so earlier on. If I don't have it, let it scatter. That mentality. It's either I have it or let it scatter. I don't care what happens. And so, to go back to the point you asked earlier on, it's affecting them. But right now, Boko Haram is beyond control. Until we can come together, until we join hands with the government as civilians, as opposition, forget the divide, whether religious, because those bombs don't know tribe, they don't know class, they don't know political party. They just drop and they kill everybody. Right now, it is the Nigerian state against Boko Haram. Anybody else who is laughing with glee or supporting Boko Haram, directly or indirectly, is an enemy of Nigeria and should be considered so. What we must all do is come to this side. Any politician that looks at what is happening in Boko Haram and is saying, the military, you know, if we're not siding with our military, who else do we have? Is it Cameroonians that will fight for us? The Americans certainly would, as they've told you. They won't be boots on ground, certainly, because one, they say there are human rights. There are some policies. It's not whether Obama likes it or not. There are American policies. Anywhere where there are human rights abuses, even if it's alleged, they will not fight on you. They will not fight for you. And so we have to fight our fight.
Okay, now let's look at this. The youths in Borno State had to come out recently and say they are ready to go into Sambisa forest to confront the Boko Haram, even if it means with sticks and clubs. What does it tell for the security situation when the youths of the community will have to say, let's go and die, even if it sticks, we are ready to go into Sambisa forest?
I won't like them to go and die that way. You know, God also will not be happy in that mass murder because it's suicidal. You can't enter into that bush, you know, unarmed and say you want to go and confront Boko Haram. But then, you know, answering your question about our military, you remember that there was a time even the wives of the military, you know, protested and said their husbands should not be sent on suicide mission. That the military is not well equipped. We have also heard about the military refusing instruction of their superiors to engage the Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast, as a result of issue of equipment. And of course, if you take into consideration that the president is asking for $1 billion loan in order to properly equip the military and then retrain them, it then means that there has been a rot in the military. We must not deny it. Sometimes we come to the air and begin to lie, see government officials lying, even denying the obvious. We know that the military has a problem. There is issue of lack of equipment. There is issue of betrayal. There is issue of lack of confidence. There is issue of disloyalty in the military today that is not making this fight, you know, to be fought on with a concerted effort in order to defeat the Boko Haram. Most of them are even on religious sentiment. Some of them are not loyal to the Federal Republic of Nigeria any longer. And so that's why you see what is going on there. So for those boys to come up means that if the military, if the state cannot protect us, we might as well, you know, take it upon ourselves to engage in suicide mission. That is what they're trying to say. In other words, the government has failed us. And that is too bad. So I think what Victor is saying is that there must be a concerted effort on the part of everyone in this fight for us to win this war. Because nowhere is safe. Oh, for the fact that it's happening in South, Northeast, you know, does not mean that it will not spread over. There is no place that, you know, nobody, even investor now, seriously will come to Nigeria. Because the moment you hear about Ebola, let me just tell you, the moment you hear about Ebola, also, Ebola has moved over to Port Harcourt. I was, you know, where somebody said, don't near Port Harcourt. I said, so people were also saying the same thing with Lagos. You know, I say in Lagos, you know, Lagos was the first, you are the first place where, so that means that people say, don't near Lagos, because almost everyone there has Ebola. So what we're saying is that no investor will come to Nigeria when they know that Nigeria is not a safe place. Because if it happens in the Northeast, in the entire Nigeria, is at stake, you know. So we must find a solution to this. It has become embarrassing that the incapacity to tackle this particular monster, you know, which has become hydra-headed, as my brother has rightly described it, you know, is coming to the level that most of us now embarrass, you know, calling ourselves Nigerians. You have been providing several millions or even trillions of naira to the security agencies over the years in our annual budget. What have been going on that you cannot tackle this Boko Haram insurgency? How many of them are even recruited that they can come and hoist a flag and say, we have taken this particular place, and the military will take off and run away? Remember how they ran into Cameroon and say it was a tactical maneuver? You know, so something is fundamentally wrong with the military. It has to be addressed. If it's issue of equipment, we need to equip them. Some of the Air Force do not have even the helicopters and the fighter jets, you know, and we call ourselves the giant of Africa. What if we engage Cameroon tomorrow in a war, or Liberia, or in any of these African countries? Can we really withstand the military might of these countries if we cannot withstand the military might of Boko Haram? A segment, not the entire North, not even a particular state, sir, have joined Boko Haram. I'm talking about just young, you know, ragtag, you know, people who are not even well trained in, you know, military warfare that are now fighting this war, and we cannot, you know, defeat them. Something is fundamentally wrong, sir. Let us be realistic about this. That something is wrong with our military, sir. It's either there is betrayal, there is lack of confidence, there is no equipment, or some other sentiments are cropping up, or they are playing politics with us. And as I said earlier, as they play this politics, the moment Boko Haram begin to kill them, they will leave politics and find a solution to this particular problem. All
right, talking about playing politics, let me take okay, before I take the statement, we'll have a call from Ilorin, Tai calling from Ilorin. And Tai, are you there? Hello, Tai.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, and thank you for calling.
Good morning. please, I just want to commend those people who are talking here. Honestly, we are talking the right thing. That's what the problem we are having in Nigeria. I don't know, the solution to it. The solution to it is for the people to follow all you are saying. But what two of you are saying, they are the main problem we are having in Nigeria security problem now. If they can follow all things you are saying, Nigeria will be better. God bless Nigeria.
Right. Thank you, Tai, for that comment and contribution. To send your advices and recommendations, if followed, we will have an end to this insurgency. Now, before I took Tai's call, I was going to talk about this and then ask you, Victor, the special advisor to the President on Inter-Party Affairs, Senator Ben Obi, says we have to face the reality that what we have is naked terrorism. The only way out of it is that all hands must be on deck. It is not a question of saying it is the responsibility of President Jonathan. Everybody must hold himself or herself responsible for making sure we end it. Now, when the managers talk about the political class have to end this. And with this kind of statement, why are these political statements coming from the political class not giving us results?
Okay, first of all, let me talk about the nature of the war. This is not a war that the Nigerian military has been prepared for. This is unconventional warfare, it's guerrilla warfare. This is a situation where the people fighting the war are embedded in the community, okay? Sometimes they will go out at night, regroup, and come and attack. This is a situation where they don't have a known camp. Although we talk about Sambisa Forest, but, for all you know, they may be in caves and all that, because we may say forest, but I don't think that it is a place where you just go. I mean, we've had the drones and all that, and we've not been able to.
But now we know they're in Goza.
Now, of course. But in Goza, what they did is tell people you don't need to run away, stay.
Okay, let's take this call from someone. We'll get back to this. Yeah. Samson Akinola, calling from Oshogbo. Hello, Samson, can you hear us?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Samson. Thank you for calling.
Yes. I think what we need now in Nigeria, are you hearing me? Is that we need to restructure our political system and also our public sphere. It is when we do this, we can have what we call synergy among the scholars, public officials, and the grassroots. The problem we have in Nigeria and in Africa is what we call the problem of disconnect. And several people have been mentioning this without bringing out appropriate solution to this issue. What we need to do is to engage in what we call polycentric planning. Simply define as the setting up of multi-layers and multi-center institutional mechanisms that will enable citizens to engage in contractual relations with the public authorities such that environmental resources are judiciously utilized and the output of the economic growth will be equitably distributed among the citizenry through multi-century privatization planning.
Right, Samson, thank you for that contribution and recommendation of a solution there. Now, before we took Samson's call, we were talking about this political statement not being effective, and you were talking about their presence. And I said, okay, we know now that, as the Boko Haram said, we've taken Goza Hills, taken over the police training camp in Goza, and that means there is a known location of where some of them are, if not all.
Yes. Now, even in Goza, this is strategic, what they have done. Ordinarily, any other time, any other town, their headquarters, it might be a bit easier, particularly the towns that have been deserted. Okay, so now you know where to get them. Okay, but now there's going to be collateral damage if you attempt to bomb. What is going to happen? There are still civilians in their midst. They said to them, no, don't go, just still, you are okay, there's no problem. Which means, you know, they're using them sort of as human shields. Now, we know they have taken over the police training. In fact, I don't even like to say police. The mobile police, the elite institution for training mobile police force in Nigeria.
Why was it so porous?
I don't know. I wish I'd done. Search me. That's all I can say. You know. But now they've taken over that place. What do? You bomb that place. Collateral damage. You would have set a lot back. But it's okay that they're getting bolder. They're getting bolder and coming out.
Let me take you back a little bit.
Yes.
When Boko Haram took over the police training college, yes, it is reported that some officers were also taken captive and they have been used as their instructors. Now, in that same police college that trains our mobile policemen to also train their own people there in warfare. Isn't that dangerous?
Let me just ask. I want to refer to something Barrister Obani said earlier when he said, he mentioned something like ragtag. These guys are sophisticated. These are no ordinary. Look at all the moves they're making. The thinking behind them, the brains behind them.
We'll come back to those brains. Let's listen to Chris. Chris calling from Abuja. Are you there, Chris? Hello, Chris.
Yeah. How are you?
Thank you for calling on to call us.
Yes. Okay, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Okay, Victor and Ubani. Yeah, okay. What my contribution here, Victor and Ubani, is that, look, you don't stand in front of a charging cavalry with pistol or with just a small arm fire. What is involved here is the rearming of the army. And to rearm the army, look at how America rearmed their people with mobile, that's with coma chips. They built up the same kind of cavalry because it's the same kind of charges these people are making. That means they have, they mount heavy machine guns on top of Hilux vehicles, and they can move very fast with motorcycles. Now, if you stand on their way like what we do, a normal security procedure, they see about 5 soldiers with AK-47 waiting for them. They cannot match them. What you need to do is that you have to do the same thing they're doing. You have to buy Hilux and then mount heavy machine guns, and then also mount arc guns. That's anti-aircraft, you level them. And then they say you move as they are moving, you move the same if you don't have tanks. So the speed they're using, and you cannot stop them. Unless if you want to stop the momentum, you have to learn how to also arm our people the way they are armed. And with speed, the same speed they go. So it becomes counter. But if we continue staying on the ground and then wielding AK-47 rifle waiting for them, we will continue to charge through you. It's just an impact. It's just like a charger in those days. That's in the military formation where horses became, when they came into warfare, they were conquering almost everywhere. So the same thing. So we need to change the practice. So Victor Ubani, I think you are making a contribution. But this one is military. And if we do that, we'll be able to stand. Then the other thing, political will, or that if we cannot take it, let's go and take mercenaries to take them.
All right, Chris, thank you for that suggestion and contribution. Still on the same line.
Yeah, I just want to react to something you said. This is unconventional warfare. And if you allow, look at what happens. When the military attempted to do some of what he's suggesting, the human rights community started shouting.
No, that they cannot use Hilux vehicles?
It's not just Hilux vehicles. Hilux vehicles is another thing. I've been told about cases where Hilux vehicles were moved from Lagos here, going towards the north and all that, and then they're hijacked. They just say it didn't disappear. Nobody's talking about it. There's too much collaboration. But that's not even the point I'm talking about here. The last point you mentioned, if they say go and hire mercenaries, again they will shout. It's we that will still say the government has gone to hire mercenaries. The civilian JTF is a dangerous thing, okay, to do, because Boko Haram started from arming thugs, you know, and not disarming them afterwards, and then they became what they are today for political reasons, according to what they said earlier on. But, you know, this JTF, if they can be trained and equipped to do the dirty work, while the military do the one that the law allows them, they say, oh, you must not. And the JTF people, no law will you know, there will be no...
Is it not the same thing if they do the dirty job?
How?
Are they still not being backed by the people who are supposed to
No.
the laws?
If the JTF people, now, I'm sorry to be putting it this way, but if the JTF people...
The civilian JTF.
Civilian JTF, rather. If the civilian JTF go out there and match them in their own strategy, the strategy of not observing conventional warfare rules, okay? You get them, you match it, but you know, if they can do it, okay, let them go, because you're attacking me in my community. I have a right to defend myself.
But we must,
okay?
we must, in the midst of that, commend the civilian JTF, because
they
helped in securing the Maiduguri metropolis.
Exactly. We need to empower them a little more. There's a limit to how far our conventional forces can go without being accused of genocide, as has been done in the past. But for me, as a civilian, if you are coming to attack me, you give me 1 hammer, I give you 10 hammer. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
If they can equip them.
We'll still come back to this, and then I've not forgotten, we're going to take this call from Usman. I've not forgotten the question you want to put back to Obani. We'll still come back to it about the ragtag militias. Usman is calling us from Kaduna. Good morning, Usman. Are you still there?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Please, I want to contribute a little bit in this issue of security issue. I'm happy with those people participating in the program. They are saying the right. The reality in Nigerian Army, the main problem in Nigerian Army is the commander. I am a serving soldier, serving Nigerian Army. The leadership of Nigeria has not put here. They are not telling genocide. It's a very directive. Nima and General Solade is supposed to report to the community. When we are united and for the unfortunate to become a seat as Djibouti, to lead the operation by himself. He's weak. He's sitting by himself. We don't have it. Whenever we have fears wearing Shagari, they are doing here. How can we go into it? The reality, remember, they don't want to see the truth. Once they see the truth, everything goes for 4 days. This issue of Boko Haram will be up. 4 good days. I was in Mali. France did the operation of Mali for 4 days. 4 good days because they have a lot of weapons. They are ready. They are not ready. The fact is the best.
Seeing we're losing Usman there. But we call back again and then make your point. The call seemed to have been cut off. Now, you were talking about the tactics of the Boko Haram and saying...
Every move has been strategic. Okay? The issue of capturing those girls and using them as a negotiation tool, you know, and throwing the heat back on government against them, you know, if you check every single move they have made, these are not moves by untrained or ragtag people. They have military brains working with them.
Yeah,
okay.
But there was no country where these people were, you know, we landed, you know, we are trained. We know our military has been, you know, in existence, you know, when we got politically independent from 60 up to date. And there has been avenues for training and retraining, You know, the former person that spoke, I'm sure the young man is a military officer or retired.
Yeah.
You know, he was mentioning some things we're supposed to have done, rather than probably waiting for them with AK-47, and then they are coming with a mobile, a fast-moving, a vehicle and all that. And you are on a suicide mission. So why is it that our military have not even undertaken this procedure or even relocating them?
Army.
Why can't they go to northeast? Let the chief of army staff and say, look, I'm forgetting the comfort of Abuja. I'm heading towards that place to end this madness. Or even the chief of defense staff, all of them, the way the police did in Abia State. So why is it that they cannot do all that? They are playing politics.
They should move the military headquarters.
Yes, move all of them there and they will stop this nonsense. Because we have the might. We have the military might to withstand this military. I mean, these insurgents. That's why I call them ragtag. Where were they trained? Is it in England or in America? Which school did they go to? But whatever it is, they just assembled them together recently and all that, and they are doing more intelligent work. They are doing more tactical work. They are doing the way they reason. Even wearing our military uniform. Who is giving them those military uniforms? Who is clothing them? Because they come and sometimes you get confused as to whether they are military or they are insurgent. So these guys are brighter. They are more intelligent. So I think that our military that over the years we have trained, we have given so much money, should have been, be doing a better job. Let them relocate to Northeast. Let them relocate. All of them, chief of defense staff, chief of army staff. Even the president himself should also go there. And sleep overnight.
The president is not a soldier.
He is the chief. He is a commander. Do you know his name? He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
But he's not a fighting soldier.
I am saying that he's the commander. He's the toga is wearing, So by the time he's dishing out, because he dishes out instruction, I want him to go and sleep in Northeast, not even for a night, to show, honestly, these are the things you can do and win the people's vote and say, I stake my life. I went there. How I wish I'm President Jonathan. I will just go to Medigri. And I will tell this Boko Haram that your end has come. By the time you begin to build the confidence of the military and all that, and they see that their commander-in-chief and all the defense chief, all of them have located there, and they are really ready to fight, this thing will end. Our military boys know that these guys are playing politics. That's why the guys on ground have been laughing at them when they're dishing out instruction from Abuja. They say, look at these people. They are not on ground. They are there. All the money doesn't get to us. They will hijack the money, it doesn't get to us, and they want us to go and die. And that is why there is disloyalty. So something has to be done. Actually, my brother, if we must find a solution to this Boko Haram insurgency, all over the radio, television now is a discussion. Let us be sincere to ourselves that we have not done it right, both militarily and politically. Let something be done to end this madness. We can engage these boys also. They are part of us. Some of them are here, they are Nigerian citizens, but I know that many of them are so foreigners. We engage these guys and get this madness off. It can be done. The political will must be there. The issue of loyalty to the Federal Republic of Nigeria must be there. Let us not play politics with this country. We are playing politics with Nigeria. And that is why this thing is lingering. And I think the politicians must end this madness because they started it. Very important.
Now, how did the politicians end it? It started from the political camp, as Monday Ubani said earlier. How would the politicians end this?
Sincerely and truly, if all parties become, first of all, Nigerians, and realize that if Boko Haram succeeds, they will have no country to rule. And that the common enemy they have is not the rival party, but Boko Haram. If they can agree to work together, if the opposition and the ruling party across board all over the country can agree to come as one and say, look, on this matter, let's form joint committees or whatever, and then let's work towards finding a solution and stop the blame game and stop using what is happening for political advantage. I think that would be the beginning of the end of this problem.
Okay, now on the Obani's suggestion, do you think moving the military headquarters to the northeast will also get this ended in good time?
That, to me, is not necessarily the solution, because there's a command center from where you plan and do all that you do. There are people on the ground there who are supposed to be competent. I use that word advisedly. Who are supposed to be doing what is supposed to be done. Going there is not necessarily going to change anything, because those officers are not the ones going to go into the field to fight. Granted, it might improve the confidence level and all that. There are issues on ground right now. Morale is low. Can we look into that? Why is morale low? Is it an issue of equipment? When the president asks for $1 billion, the opposition rose up again and said no, he wants to use it as a political war chest. You understand what I'm saying? You know, everything we do we politicize. They are saying they don't have, these people are better equipped. Just in the reports, yes, in the last 2 days, we have found out how Babangida, because of self-preservation, and succeeding governments have decimated the military, the Air Force in particular. You know, they have neglected them, they have not equipped them for so long because of the fear of coup. So that they cannot successfully, you know, prosecute a coup. You know? And as a result of that, our military has been made, you know, if you like, almost useless. Okay? It is time to re-equip them, to redress all those things in the past. But when these things are brought up, we bring politics into it. Okay? So I think what is more important is, what are the issues? Morale is low. Why is morale low? One, there's the issue of betrayal. There are moles within even the high command of the military, and across board, from down to up. I mean, up, down, up, across the entire structure. That's one. Two, which means people are betrayed. There's lack of trust. People are betraying themselves. They don't trust each other anymore. You don't know if the next man to you is a Haramite, if I may use that language. Okay. Secondly, the equipment what you are equipped with is inferior compared to that of the people you're fighting with. Okay? Thirdly, what happens to those who die? Their family, what comes to them? Are they instantly taking, I mean, do the family members feel that their sons have fought a good fight, that they truly fought for a nation that cares about them? The issue of their welfare, both on the field and all that. What kind of motivation, incentives are being given to them? If these issues are addressed, okay, I think we can begin to look at, you know, how to, you know, effectively manage this situation on the ground.
Oh, all right, that's begin to round up on the way out.
Well, I've been saying it now from beginning. I started saying that. It must
maybe if there are practicable steps that
they are practical.
The politicians should take.
You know, there are long-term decisions we should take, and there are short-term. You know, for both. Long-term is that good governance is very key. People have to really be included in governance, you know, and they want to be carried along. They must be empowered economically. When somebody is busy, it's difficult for that person to be engaged in crime, because every morning he wakes up, he comes back home, he's tired, he's talking about waking up tomorrow to go to work. So when does he have that time to begin to, you know, mix up with hoodlums to plan how to kidnap or kill, or or bomb himself and all that? So engage somebody economically, and you have given him life, and he has no right to take other people's life, not that of himself. So economical empowerment is very, very key. Good governance, enthroning it on all facets, in all strata, in all the local government council, in all wards. Let people begin to see that they belong to Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's very, very key. These are long-term effect. And then let there be political justice. You know, what is mine, give it to me. What is yours, take, and all that. Let's enthrone justice in this country. Let there be no so much injustice. When there is so much justice in the land, people will not begin to take up arms against their country. It's not possible. So these are long term. But the short term now is that the military must work hand in hand with the people on ground, the locals, where those areas are affected. They must be ready to give information. They must collaborate. And the other African countries also, where they are coming from, West African countries, must also collaborate with us, because no country is safe today. So there must be collaboration with Cameroon, Chad, and all the neighboring countries in order to nip this in the bud. Because they come from these countries and come in and then operate and go back, And that's Sambisa Forest. Can that place be leveled, sir? Can't we put, this money we want to borrow now, can't we level that Sambisa?
A large expanse of
God, we can level it now, because it has become a problem. Where there is a problem, there must be a solution now. We're saying one of the solutions is that we must level that Sambisa where these guys are hiding, in order to create a visibility. Honestly, so that's my own suggestion, because we must spend money in order to end this, because we are finding solutions, both practical and the immediate solution to this, because it has become embarrassment to us as a nation, that these guys now can come and host a flag and say, look, we have taken Bama, we have taken Goza, we have even taking the entire Borno state. That's what they're even saying now. Their headquarters will be Borno state. That's where they're starting from. From there, they launch their this into all other states in the federation. So that is dangerous. So we feel safe. We're here. We think we're safe here. No, these guys must be stopped. We must nip it in the bud.
Right. Thank you very much for those incisive and in-depth analysis of the situation on ground. We've talked about Boko Haram, the rising insecurity, and the road to 2015. And I had here in the studio Victor Okai. Thank you very much for making it up.
Thank you. One sentence as you round up.
Yeah.
Please let the military, the youths right now are ready to fight, the civilian JTF. As an ad hoc measure, recruit those who are willing only for this war, equip them, and back them up and let them go and fight this fight.
All right. Thank you very much, Victor. Monday Obani, we appreciate your presence here. We hope when next we need you, oblige us the opportunity to appear on Coverage. Viewers, this is where we drop in the curtain because our time is up and we have to go. Up next is News on the Hour with the Martins Dixon, and we've been talking about rising insecurity, the road to 2015. Thank you very much for being with us and have a blissful day.